I'm Teisha with Shalom TV's news update for Wednesday, April the 17th, 2013. You may have seen on IBA News earlier that 2 rockets were launched at Israel's southern resort city of Eilat this morning, and that an Islamist militant group which operates both in Gaza and in the Egyptian-controlled Sinai Peninsula claimed responsibility. Well, since the IBA report, Ynet reports that Egypt has said it was too early to determine where the rockets originated from and that they were still conducting an investigation. A spokesperson for Egypt's presidential office, Omar Ammar, responded to reports that the rockets were launched out of Sinai and said Israel can announce what it wants. We are speaking based on the investigation. Ynet also reported earlier that a spokesman for the Egyptian military said the Egyptian military stresses that its territories never were and never will be a source of threat for neighboring countries. There was some damage caused by this morning's rockets, but no injury, although several local residents were treated for shock. Palestinians have now appealed to the European Union to intervene on behalf of hunger-striking Palestinian prisoner Saeb Erekat. As we reported to you last week, Israel had offered to deport Erekat in an effort to reach a compromise over the high-profile detainee, whose health is rapidly deteriorating as he has been refusing food for nearly 9 months in protest of his detention in an Israeli jail. And today, British newspaper The Guardian reported that chief PLO negotiator Saeb Erekat turned to the EU to get involved on Erekat's behalf, calling on them to take immediate and concrete steps to get Erekat released. Erekat was sentenced to 26 years in prison for his role in a series of shooting attacks targeting Israeli police cars and students at Jerusalem's Hebrew University. He was released to Gaza in 2011 during the Gilad Shalit prisoner exchange and rearrested in 2012 for violating the conditions of his release. And the Shin Bet, Israel's security agency, said today that they had arrested a Palestinian from Gaza suspected of plotting to carry out a terrorist attack, who had been recruited by another Palestinian prisoner who had been released in the 2011 Shalit exchange. The arrested man was reportedly recruited while on a pilgrimage to Mecca by Amir Duncan, released in the Shalit deal. The Shin Bet said that this was just another example of terror organizations trying to promote their activity in the West Bank through the growing use of prisoners who were released in the 2011 deal. The Associated Press reports that U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry reiterated his sense of urgency for Israelis and Palestinians to reach a 2-state solution. Kerry, while giving testimony before the House Foreign Affairs Committee this morning, said that while he was not going to publicly lay out a Mideast peace plan, he was determined to try his best to move things along. Kerry said, "I can guarantee you that I am committed to this because I believe the window for a 2-state solution is shutting. I think we have some period of time, a year to a year and a half to 2 years," Kerry said, "or it's over." Kerry visited Jerusalem and the West Bank last week and said he sensed a seriousness of purpose in his meetings with both Israeli and Palestinian leaders, and that the objective now is translating that seriousness into quick action. And an Israeli college has established a journalism center named for Jewish Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl. The Interdisciplinary Center Herzliya launched the Daniel Pearl International Journalism Institute today in honor and memory of the journalist who was abducted and murdered in Pakistan in 2002 by al-Qaeda terrorists. The institute aims to advance quality journalism in the Middle East and promote balanced reporting from the region. It will offer fellowships to outstanding journalists and immersion programs for visiting reporters. Pearl's father, Judea, who just a few nights ago lit a torch in memory of his son at the Jewish Agency's Yom HaZikaron ceremony in Jerusalem, said he hoped the institute would be a, quote, towering contribution to Danny's legacy, his life, his mission, and his dreams. And finally, Wayne Firestone has been named president of the Genesis Prize Foundation. Firestone had announced last year that he would be stepping down from his 8-year position as president and CEO of Hillel later this year. He will step into the Genesis Foundation position at the end of this month. The Genesis Prize, established last year by the Genesis Philanthropy Group, the Office of the Prime Minister of Israel, and the Jewish Agency for Israel, will award $1 million to an accomplished, internationally renowned individual from anywhere in the world who is a role model in his or her community. Firestone will work together with the prize's judging committee, which includes Nobel laureate Elie Wiesel and Jewish Agency head Natan Sharansky. He said of the prize, building on the legacy of Einstein, Chagall, and Brandeis, "We are excited to introduce new Jewish role models to the next generation." The inaugural Genesis Prize will be awarded next spring in Jerusalem by Israel's Prime Minister. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Wednesday, April the 17th, 2013. I'm Teisha Bader.